Three ways your brain stops you and your results and what you can do about it. My name is Dr. Shannon Irvine, and I help entrepreneurs wire their brain to allow themselves to achieve. All right, let's dive into it. Three things your brain does that stops your results dead in the tracks. Number one is fear. Your brain is wired for the past. The past is safety to your brain. And so with fear comes a brake pedal. It's looking at the patterns of the past to say, have we been here before? Have we done this before? And if you haven't, which is, by the way, most entrepreneurs haven't been where they're going, then your brain throws off a neurochemical cocktail to say, warning, danger, Will Robinson. And here's the key. We've got to flip that switch to safety. How do we flip that switch to safety? Is we break it down into the micro. So we don't tell our brains, we don't start to put on our vision boards and our goals. I want $1 million business and I want to have 10,000 fans, but I've never gone live before. We start to tell our brain micro steps, like I'm going to put up my first video on YouTube. That's the micro step. Now, because you've probably done something before that looks like a video, your brain doesn't see that as a threat, and it allows you to continue to move forward. You want to stack those micro safe steps instead of putting your brain in a fear cycle, having neurochemicals work against you. So that's step number one. We got to flip the fear into safety. Number two, your brain always serves you what if. What if? And so that's why if you've started to do something that you've never done before, you start to ask yourself questions like, what if it fails? What if I'm embarrassed? What if it succeeds? Your brain starts to go into a loop to try to get you back down to safety. So again, the what if question, the answer to the what if question is just one step. So what one step could I take today to be a little bit closer to the result, but not be in the what if? So if your brain serves you a what if, you just serve it back, I'm just doing this one step. So it's safe again. So we're building safety in the brain, again, avoiding that neurochemical cocktail that literally takes you out. I always give the image or the metaphor of the foot on the gas and the foot on the brake at the same time. Your brain has a brake pedal of the past that if you do not flip the switch, it will not allow you to reach the results that you so desire. So we're going to flip fear into safety with micro steps. We're going to flip the what if into one step that you can take. And then the third piece that your brain does to stop you dead in your tracks are old patterns of when you've tried before and it hasn't worked out. Your brain is going to play that movie for you to test your resolve. So in order to test your resolve, to flip the old patterns, now we go deep into that process in our coaching business on how to remove those limitations for good. But what I want you to know today on this YouTube video is it's a reps game. So instead of thinking about it in that larger sense, I want you to think about it as like, what one thing can I do today that is different than the old pattern? What is the one? So if your pattern is anxiety, what is the one thing I can do that makes me feel confident? If your pattern is in self-sabotage, then what's the one thing I can do to promote myself? If your pattern is always overwhelm, what is one thing you can do today that will be a micro step? You see, there is a trend throughout it. Your brain never works against the micro, it works against the macro because it's always looking back at evidence of the past to create a film of the future. What we've got to do is when we flip that switch, when we go micro, when we really lean into just new reps every day versus giving it that big, hairy, scary goal, then your brain starts to see the little baby steps as safe. And as you stack those baby steps create the bigger vision. So the three ways your brain stops you: fear, what if, and old patterns. Flipping that switch is vital for you to accomplish results. You know this intuitively because we Start, unfortunately, with an old broken process of smarter goals, which works literally in opposition to the way your brain will allow a result. So if you're coming up on January and you're like, I'm going to do smarter goals again, can I please say stop? And reach out to us and get the process, because there's a process your brain has to go through to allow results, to allow your results, to allow your dreams to come true. All right, that's what I have for you on this short video, the 3 ways your brain's trying to stop you and what you can do about it today to make a difference. And of course, in the show notes down below, or in the notes down below, I'm a podcaster, so you can't help it. In the notes down below, I have links to a brain prime, just baby steps you can take to really start to move the mindset toward that up-leveled place. All right.